Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the British and Irish Pro League for week 3 of the competition. Action starting to hot up, especially in Div1, where all of the undefeated top seeds of the competition will be meeting tonight across 2 different matches, but there are fireworks to come there. We will be kicking things off with one of our matches from Div2, but before we get there, bringing you the action, it's me, Nualeg. Joining me is Twiggy, and of course we have, as per last week, in the booth, Statsman, ready to bring you some sick stats.
Statsman.
I didn't plan
no
for
introduction.
This. Hi.
There, Statsman, sounding confident and on point, which is exactly what you want, honestly, from a Statsman is being confident and able to bring the stats when needed and not being timid or shying away from the microphone. That's absolutely great. But either way, it's going to be a good day. It's been a good day every day when we've had the competition on. So I think it's going to be another good day once again. We've got some returning faces. I think we're going to see some new players, or at least players that are new to the mainstream at the very least. The only canon stream, second stream, actually doesn't exist. It's just a fanfic for BIPL.
Although they do keep flaming us for not wearing suits, so
I will never wear a suit.
You cannot make us.
You
we will not do it. But we are going to get things underway, as we said this evening, by heading down to Div2 Match 1 between Padster, Eggy, BluBarry and Burntbagels. Of course, we do have another new map this week, our last new map of the competition, Manifest, making its way into the lineup. And I think what's particularly interesting about this match, Twiggy, is Eggy and Burntbagels are the 2 players in Div2 who are really the only people shaking up the standings, both of them massively overperforming compared to their seeding at the moment.
Yeah, but that does make this game really, really good because we've got 3 players on 5 points. More 5s. Wait, what was the joke that we were going to say?
More 5s than the second stream.
No, the last time I saw this many 5s was in the second stream.
There we go. Woo! And then we decided that meant that there was an average of 5 out of 10 over there, and that meant one of them was a 1 out of 10, and the other one's a 10 out of 10, and we leave that up to viewer interpretation.
Yeah, actually go into their stream and say one of them's a 1.
Stat.
If one of them's a 1 out of 10 and the other's a 10 out of 10, that's actually an average of 5.5.
You're not here to correct our maths, okay? If you wanted to do that, you needed to be in the general channel of British Irish Trackmania earlier today, where we spent far too long trying to work out how many coloured squares in different permutations we could make, alright? It was, a thing of beauty. But
speaking of a thing of beauty,
yeah, the match is starting. I think that's something that's going to happen pretty soon.
Starting? I mean, it says live race.
It does say live race, but it also says Eggy's DNF'd. So we're not quite there yet. We are still
could have DNF'd,
Could have DNF'd. Look, I want to highlight before we get into it. Burntbagels and Eggy are both doing very well compared to their seeding. I believe Eggy qualified in 15th, Burntbagel qualified in 13th, and currently at the moment, Burntbagels sitting in tied 4th place with a total of 7 points, with a first in week 1, a second in week, a second in week 2. And then Eggy with a 3rd and a 2nd. So Eggy looking to kind of continue that momentum, climb a little bit higher with a strong performance here. Could well do so as well. But Burntbagels, this is a great opportunity for him to continue on that charge up the leaderboard. Another 1st or 2nd here leaves him sitting pretty comfortably at 10 plus points by the end of today, and looking very, very good to finish strong in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got a really nice kind of tight season, I think, going on. There isn't like 5 players on 8 points and then like 5 players on 2 points. We've got, actual kind of standings that are shaping up right now, and hopefully that continues. We hate to see players running away with stuff. We like to see people panicking. That's very fun. I'm gonna leave that as it is.
Yeah, no, you're right, I guess, is true. Of course, it would be impossible for 5 players to be on 8 points, or 5 players to be on 2 points at this point of the competition, or indeed at any point of the competition, Twiggy. But that's just a little stat correction of my own. I think we're bringing a very pedantic energy to tonight's stream.
Yeah. Where?
Well, Thomas started it, and I've apparently decided to continue it.
Yeah, no, I'm just along for the ride, as per usual. I'm here. I'll say some words at some point.
In this car that we call the
You know what? I've been a passenger for most of my... Like, I feel like I am a passenger to my life. I just kind of do what other people say, and then I'm here, and now I'm there, and right now I'm just kind of new as other talky person right now. And you know what? That's fine. I embrace that.
Yeah, we should call ourselves the Talking Heads. That's not something any group has ever called.
Yeah, no, never. Yeah, we should do that. Completely original. Not copyrighted.
I think we're seeing players starting to get into it. We are going to be heading into a warm-up on the server now at this point. Yes, Twiggy.
We said welcome back to the British and Irish Pro League. We meant welcome back to Cup of the Day episode 16 with import.
Oh.
No, I don't think you did fix it, but okay.
Good effort, honestly, you know. Has just gotten, you know, Nightbot to tell him what the title is rather than actually fixing the title. But I'm glad we know now that we are in Cup of the Day episode 16 with import. It was a great episode. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. Import, obviously, a very interesting guy. He's been very involved in running XP Evo as one of the main organizers for that, and just generally very involved with the Trackmania scene and competitive Trackmania in general. So an episode worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of forgot that that's like the same thing as this. You know, we should be promoting Cup of the Day. It's I was on it. I was on the first episode of it. In fact,
I wasn't.
It was lovely. Yeah, you were. You were on there with me. Weirdo. Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, you definitely were. You were 100%.
I'll take your word for it, okay? If I don't have my spreadsheet of like gigs worked open beside me, I just it's gone. It's out of my head.
Wow, you don't remember the something time we appeared on a Twitch stream together. That's wild.
Was that really
honestly
the fourth? Have we not
something
been doing
like
a decent
that
amount of Challenger League at that point?
I don't think so. I think we've done a few weeks
crazy.
of it, maybe.
That's honestly kind of crazy. It's because I get to cast with you so much, Twiggy, and it's always such a delight that together in a wonderful way. Hey, I'm being saved by gameplay occurring on the screen. We are live in the first round. We are back with Worm once again as well. The potential gear soup present on this map through this section if you mess up your first few turns, but none of the players doing it. Plenty of time to have practiced this map at this point as well, and so far everyone putting on a good show in round one.
Yep, absolutely. It is the Irishman leading the charge for the time being, though. Historically, we haven't seen the Irish do that well when surrounded by 3 British people. I'm not like that's. I don't mean historically as in genuinely historically, but that too. Yeah, exactly. But right now, BluBarry getting revenge for his brethren, so feeling good. Round 1 looks like it is going to go in the way of BluBarry. Burntbagels right behind, but not close enough to capitalize.
Yeah, managing to take away that round win. Eggy with a slow start. Couple of seconds away from the other drivers, but it is a good first round from BluBarry. A time of 57.6 is solid enough, and that's what we want to continue to see out on this one. But we said it, you know, I mean, Burntbagels is doing very well at the moment. We maybe don't fully expect him to win the match, but we expect him to put up a very good fight, and honestly, he could win this fight. He is the highest ranked player in this at the moment, so this is the chance to really push himself towards the end of that season and do very, very well indeed.
Well, it is indeed, but it looks like things are going to be difficult for him at the very least because, first off, BluBarry off to a very good start with that first round and leading the charge in the second round as well. And things have been, you know, quite tight all the way throughout all of this. I'm not sure what happened there, but Eggy is back. It's all good. And yeah, I think, you know, the players are going to be pretty close together for most of this one. It was just a couple of turns that caught people off guard there. The ice, Padster choosing to not even go for the slide. Which, you know what, fair enough. I'd rather that than falling off it.
Yeah, just choose not to engage with the ice turn at all. You can put it there, you can't make me drive it.
Yeah.
Is Padster's choice in this round. This is going to be very tight towards the end. Barry very tight on the inside. Going to be lacking a little bit of speed towards finish line. Eggy's going to catch. Is Bagels going to catch? Not quite. A matter of 300ths in it there, as Barry's inside line is enough to take a place away at the end of the round.
That was unbelievably close. Barry looked like he was on a charge there. If he took more exit speed from that final U-turn, probably would have come first place. But as it stands, nobody with a flawless scoreline. Usually, you know, we've actually kind of seen people stick around 120 for a quite a long time, several rounds, and then things start to get a bit more hairy towards the end when you've got 2 people left in the server. But looks like this one's going to be a little bit of a closer affair.
Will be, except possibly, unfortunately, for Padster at the moment, who's been struggling in the first 2 rounds and will struggle again here at the start of round 3. Another potential minus 10 point loss on this one, dropping early below that 100-point mark. Is really relying on a crash from someone up ahead. It could happen on the ice. It could always happen on the ice. Bagels is so deep inside, and there goes Eggy, a little bit too wide, falling off the outside of the turn, and Barry is into clean air.
Indeed, Barry's having a really nice time so far, despite the fact that Bagels has gained more points over the course of this whole, well, I mean, it's been 2 weeks, but, you know, it is what it is. And Barry now taking home a second victory here, is going to stick around on 116 points, but Bagels comes through in second place, just about makes that one. Eggy definitely on DNF watch, as Statsman says, dropping down 17 seconds. Things are getting more and more difficult. Padster opts to go for the safe finish. There is no chance of Eggy getting there. And in fact, just takes it. Just goes 3 seconds left. I'm not making it. Let's just finish the round early.
Yeah, losing the full -12 on that point. So things were looking rough for Padster, but with that -12 as well, also now looking rough for Eggy at the start of this. We're only a few rounds in, right? It's not the end of the world just yet. Plenty of time, as Barry will crash out a little bit on this round. Going to be struggling to catch back up to the other players. Less speed entering this section, but does look to have the right gear to get into it, and is in fact already overtaking Padster through the dirt section. Things very, very rough for Padster. I think going to be happy that this map is rotating out of the map pack after this week.
Yeah, probably. I think this one has caught a lot of people off guard, and it's not just the ice. I think there are a lot of sections that are quite awkward or finicky to get right unless you are very, very precise with your driving, and that's presented itself more as a problem in Division 2 than in Division 1. I think we see quite a lot of this happening. We see a lot of close competition, although specific players seem to dislike the map even in Div 1, so it doesn't really matter either way. But Burntbagels is going to come home in first place this time around, just about. Yeah, gets it done. BluBarry in second. It seems like we've got a kind of split of 2 different leagues of players here right now.
Yeah, absolutely, which is a little bit unfortunate for Eggy as well, who has, I believe, still put together the best time on the server, on the map, over the course of the 4 rounds that we played here, and yet finds himself sitting with only 91 points, losing a lot there on the first round. Consistency just not quite there over the course of our first map, but now we leave that in the past. We head to our second map of the evening. We go to Clueless for this one. Now, the players have had a couple of weeks to week, their first week playing it in live rounds, and they should look a little bit more comfortable, Twiggy, right? That's how that works.
Right, yeah, definitely. That's a very astute point that you have made. But I was going to say a stout point. That's just a more Irish thing.
That's just a pint of Guinness.
Yeah, exactly. Statman has whispered in our ears seductively, so let's give him the time of day.
Eggy with the best time last time out with a 57.175, but did find themselves over a second and a half away from first place in every other round in those opening 4 rounds.
Oh, cheers, Thomas.
Yep.
And
I've seen the clips from last week. You and Orion were very excited about Statman, and we've adopted a very standoffish tone this week instead.
No, that's just how you talk to Statman. Like, cheers, Jeff, and
you literally said, he's whispered in our ear, I guess we'll give him the time of day.
Those were the words that came to me at the time. Like, you try speaking this fast, you can't do it.
That's
my
true.
brain,
I've never been able to rap the entirety of Rap God.
Yeah, exactly. I get my words out before my brain fact checks them, you know?
Yeah, mouth running away in front of your tongue. It's a little bit unfortunate when it happens, and it leads to some interesting phrases. But I just want to see interesting driving, and we are on to Clueless, and we'll see if Eggy can clean it up a little bit here. Because as we got from the start, this pace is there. The consistency was not so much on Worm. We're definitely going to see Worm again in this match, so there is a chance for a little bit of redemption there. But for now, new map, new focus, new rounds, and once again, all players keeping it a little bit clean through that section, but it was Barry who slips a little bit down, not quite nailing those drifts.
Indeed, Eggy out in the lead this time around. Burntbagels still keeping up and still very close. Different lines coming through on different corners there. Bagels goes very inside through that one, but things are staying okay for the time being. Padster close behind, but in 4th position.
Yeah, trying to keep in touch. This is going to be very tight down to the finish line as well. It is going to be Eggy right at the back, right behind Barry and Bagels, though. Speed to the finish line is going to be so important through these final couple of turns. Eggy overtakes Barry, who full crashes. Bagels takes the round. Eggy in 2nd place, and Padster will come home with a 3rd. Happy to be there.
It does seem like the grand equalizer always happens when we move to our second map. We start to see players who were confident on the first map start to get a little bit out of their ways as we go on forward. And, well, the scores do equalize a little bit there. BluBarry drops down into 2nd position with 102 points. And although 4th position is still 20 points shy of that, it's getting there, you know? Give it another couple maps. I feel like we'll have a much more level playing field.
We'll see. Map 3, map 4 as well. Sometimes the time when a player is struggling a little bit really starts to drop away from the pack. So again, that's kind of on Eggy and Padster to start to clean it up now, because otherwise when you start getting to those 20 or 30 point deficits, it becomes very hard to hold on. And there goes Padster, dropping a long way back once again. Still within reaching distance if there's a mistake at the end again from one of the players, but that'd only be good enough for the one place. And getting above those third places for Padster is starting to look pretty necessary, needing to hold on to as many points as possible. It'll be close to the line between Eggy and Barry, though.
Indeed, it will be. Barry out ahead for the time being, but it's real close between the two of them. Both of them get good gearing on the plastic. Nothing happens there. A lot of players do manage to lose out on a gear there, but Eggy tries to go too tight, clips the wheel on the edge, has to do a full respawn. Barry does the same thing at the end. Burntbagels moves forward into first position. Padster is there to clinch out second place, and somehow the two race leaders there have managed to be well over a second behind.
The disaster for Eggy as well, who needed that top placing in that round, is over a second behind one more time. And that is the round the Padster needed a little bit. You know, it's caught back up a little bit, picking up a second place, but it is relying on mistakes at the moment. Pace from Padster, not quite there, just on average across the length of the map, is dropping behind. And especially on this map, the back half of it is so focused on holding onto those gears and just holding onto the speed. There's no real big drifts that are going to lose you a lot of speed, so just driving smoothly is so important. And Eggy will touch on the start of this round.
Yeah, and a really unfortunate situation considering how many, well, how little points could have lost last round. And now back in fourth place once again, looking to take up the mantle of fourth position overall on this one. Padster still very close behind in terms of points, but in second position currently, is looking to gain some of that back, claw his way back into this game. Burntbagels really taking a full grasp of the opportunity that they were given last round and soaring into first position here.
Oh. Yeah, that's a touch from Padster. That's an overtake from Eggy, and it's so close to the end of the map now. Is there going to be a mistake? Barry this time will stay inside the wall. Bagels still picks up first place, and Padster, it was looking like a much better round right up until it wasn't, because even without that touch, Padster was starting to drop back a little bit, just not as willing, it looks like, to commit as his rivals.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now round 4 of 4 here on Clueless. Really important for everybody to put together, or put their best foot forward, I guess, in this one, and make sure they're going into map 3 with maximized points here. You never know what's going to happen. Where did Barry go? Pole?
Somewhere
Pole?
into a wall.
Okay, well, that's
4.5
unfortunate.
seconds.
And the Brits soar away on this one. Padster, Eggy, and Burntbagels right together here. But again, really trying to maximize as much time as possible here. It is worth risking, but Padster crashes into the wall as again, actually, for the second round in a row. And Eggy and Burntbagels move forward. A good combination, I think. Breakfast bagel.
Yeah, eggs and bagels, a classic.
Maybe not
honestly.
burn,
but you know, I mean, sometimes you burn the bagels, and what are you going to do? Throw them out? No, you power through anyway. And Bagels is going to try and power through on this round, but eggs are just proving superior in this case. And I think, you know, if you had the choice between one or the other on their own, you'd go for eggs every time, and that is potentially the case. Bagels has more speed coming up to the end, a little bit wider on the outside, looking to catch, but Eggy just drives the shorter distance and will pick up the round win.
It's very close at the back. Padster stays ahead by about half of a tenth there, and that will close up a little bit of the gap. Maybe not to Eggy, but to everybody else, just a little bit, making their. But things are starting to really split up here. We've still got a player above 100 points. We've got a player down on 50 now, basically.
What is your breakfast of choice, Twiggy?
I don't usually do breakfast. I know that's a very
I mean, I also
boring
don't,
answer,
yeah.
but
it's a classic esports. It's a very dangerous question to ask on anything esports related.
I think if I was gonna have, probably like a breakfast muffin or a bagel, I think is kind of my thing. I think if I'm gonna have a bagel, I'd have either plain or everything. Like I'm either
just no in between.
Vanilla frappuccino or you know, like mocha whatever, or just black coffee. Yeah, no, those are my things. But yeah, no. Something like that. Stat on breakfast? Breakfast stat?
Breakfast stat?
First stat, breakfast, most important meal of the day. Second stat, Burntbagels has won half the rounds so far. So 4 round wins for Burntbagels, and BluBarry and Eggy with 2 apiece, with Padster the only one yet to get a round win.
Shows in
Thanks,
the points,
Statman.
doesn't it? I mean, Burntbagels still over 100 points, 20 points clear of BluBarry, who himself is looking decently clear of Eggy and Padster at the moment. And Padster in a lot of trouble. And we are moving on to the final map, the last map revealed for the British Irish Pro League as well. And Manifest, it's looking pretty fun. I think my feeling watching it when I was kind of going through it is that it's going to come down to outside dirt a lot. And based on how these players have been driving so far, we've seen a few wall touches. We've seen some players willing to risk a little bit more. I think that that's going to very much be the case in this match in particular.
Yeah, well, here we go. First round on this one. We haven't really seen players play it that much, and I think you're already going to see a massive gap in terms of preparation for this map. We saw it last time as well. With Clueless. Was it Clueless that was introduced? I'm pretty sure it was Clueless. Exactly. Clueless that was introduced. I think we're going to see a very similar thing here. Players have got quite used to Clueless, but a wider split between everybody on this one as players haven't really optimized their routes. There's the start of that happening. BluBarry drops down into 4th position, slamming into one wall, getting sent careening into the second one. Can't get too far down there. And plastic on this map means that gears are going to be a problem as well. If you hit a wall before that plastic section, you're going to be on awkward gearing, you're going to lose even more time, so it's important to stay up with the leaders all the way through to the very end here, because problems will just compound themselves. Second downhill plastic section there, and we move towards the finish. Burntbagels still in 1st place. Eggy just about makes that speed check. Padster comes through in 3rd place, and BluBarry into the safe finish.
And that last plastic turn as well, so important to not lose your gear, to not have any issues on that, because the final speed check into that finish it's tight. You want to have the speed to get there. And you also want to make sure that you judge your speed correctly going into it, because missing and not going for the safe fin, hitting the risky fin and just crashing out instead, it's going to be rough. So just keep an eye on the decisions as players come through. If there are any small mistakes, there's a big mistake right at the start. Eggy is going to drop behind by about half a second to the other drivers. It's going to be more now, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, well, it seems like we've got another one of these situations where we're going to have larger gaps between players, and I think it's going to come through massively on this one. I think definitely Burntbagels seems prepared for this map, as opposed to some of the other players here. Eggy down by 3 seconds this time around, and I mean, I think this is probably one of the more challenging ones in terms of the amount of like plastic that you have. There's a lot of different stuff going on. It's not super techy, it's not super dirty either. It's a lot of different stuff going on, and that's difficult to wrap your head around with little preparation.
Yeah, it really is. It's well, we'll see how it goes at the end of this round and then get back to it. Bagels should have the speed. Barry should have the speed. Yes, cleanly through the finish line, and it's going to be Eggy coming through, overtaking Padster and getting a 3rd place as Padster drops to 4th. You're right. There's a lot to manage on this map, right? A lot of dirt, a lot of plastic. You know, neither one really dominating the map though still. But as a result, it's a lot of managing your speed. The map is kind of encouraging you to hold that speed, to get through as fast as possible, kind of daring you to carry as much speed as you can. But there's a lot of walls that you can touch or corners that you can bounce off with tight turns if you are trying to go a little bit too hard. Yeah.
Well, was that you saying that you had a stat to give, or were you just mumbling in my ear? I don't know what happened there. I just heard Thomas say something very quietly, and I don't know whether that's a stat.
I said what the heck, because I didn't know how 2 people were like a second down at the start of the round.
I see. All good. Just a visceral reaction to the rounds beginning there. Eggy and Padster down by 1 second apiece here on this one. Burntbagels, oh dear, clips the corner, and oh no, wheels hung over the edge. It's getting worse. He can't respawn. Oh, just about saves it on the second respawn there, but down by a long way. No chance of catching up. Unless something really bad happens for the other players. Eggy and Padster in the meantime catching up to BluBarry slowly but surely.
Yeah, Barry's been safing a little bit on this round, you know, had that big gap, especially once Bagels crashed out. Padster's going to clip a wheel there, needing to go for the safe in one more time. Barry is safely through, Eggy is safely through, Padster will still take 3rd despite that clip, and Bagels will come home and drop a full minus 10 points.
Hey!
Gonna get there. No!
Not
gonna get there!
No!
Oh!
No!
There's no time! No! Minus 12 for Bagels!
Oh no!
Disaster.
That's the most heartbreaking missing out on 2 points I've ever seen in my life. Turtling to the finish line Like it's like somebody falling over at the end of a marathon and trying to stick their tongue over the edge or something like that. It's just heartbreak. Oh dear.
I reckon if you gave him about like 45 minutes there, you know, the passive movement of the car might have got him across the line.
Oh, for sure. I think he, you know, wiggles to stick around enough. I think you generate enough, you know, enough torque to get over the line or something like that. Or what's the word?
Let's just stick with torque. That was good enough. You know?
I mean, loosely related to what I was talking about, so that's fine. Either way, this time around, oh dear, I think coming back to haunt him as he tries to flip the car over once again on the edge of the track. This time, Eggy out in first place, Padster and BluBarry here for this one. But if the last corner is anything to go by for the last few rounds for Padster, gonna need to be very careful not to clip that one. Nope, still fine. Got a lot of speed through there, not enough to overtake BluBarry though. To get through there, but well, the scores are starting to equalize now.
Yeah, big couple of rounds for this entire match as Bagels drops 20 points and kind of creeps a little bit closer back down towards Eggy and Barry. Padster, it's time to start to get a little bit nervous. This potentially means we go back to Worm. Padster had a rough time here to start the match off, and this might be the map where we see Padster head to elimination. 2 fourth places and a third, not out of the question, would be enough to put him in last chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here we go now. Warm up for this one is going to be an important one. I think, look, there were a lot of mistakes that happened. If you can clean them up here in this warm up, which Burntbagels didn't manage to do this time around. In fact, Burntbagels was one of the cleanest drivers on this track, which was interesting. I think maybe, you know, that, look, don't underestimate how much a finish like that can get into your head. You know, 2 losses in a row, one of which was a DNF. You're going to have to, I think the thing is, a lot of the mistakes here in the warm-up, obviously not a lot to go off, are due to pushing real hard. And that's fair enough, but I think you're going to want to practice going a little more safe, because the thing is, for pure pace, everyone has had their moments, but nobody has really been far out ahead in terms of pace in every map. I think you can play things safe and lose a minimal amount of points.
We should... Oh, stat. Never mind. Stat.
Eggy TM with the best round time across the entire of Div2 in Manifest. First time we saw it with a 61.224, but still quite considerably off their PB of a 58.4. So everyone's struggling to hit those times in rounds.
All right, so something to keep an eye on. If we get back to Manifest in this match or in our later matches as well, keep an eye on what those Div2 times are. I actually wanted to touch on Eggy as well, because we heard our little stat at the end of our first go round on Worm as well, that Eggy did come away with the best time. Now everyone was within kind of a tenth of each other except Padster at the end of the map, but then over a second and a half behind on the other 3 rounds. So Eggy has the pace on this map, is showing it here in this round, but just needs to keep it a little bit cleaner. Barry's gonna slide out, Padster slides through, and Eggy is somewhere.
Gone. There. Apparently. Barry is Yuri on ice over here. Absolutely. Just down to the Sugar Plum Fairy all the way throughout. DNF. Yeah, fair enough. Honestly, at that point, you just don't want to be spectated. I understand completely. And Burntbagels will come through to a first place. Padster is just about over the line on that one. Eggy has already taken the 12-point difference here, but Barry still needs to get over that line. Oh boy, 5 seconds left to get there. It should be fine, but do you have the speed to get it? No, okay, going for the safe finish. Absolutely fine. It got there in the end, no problem.
That was a potential 5-point swing as well there for Barry. I mean, last second you could see it, the decision to just swerve for the safe finish. It works out. It works out. The ice slide did not for either Barry or Eggy on the last round, and that kind of run of Eggy having the pace, being up there, leading rounds, contesting with the best times that anyone else can put up on this map, but just struggling to get the car all the way through unscathed.
Yeah, well, now, man, we've had a couple of very interesting rounds already today. It's Div2, but this is even, this is over the top even for Div2 here. Kill him. Kill him.
Ice slide.
Oh, look at that. And everybody got it right that time. You made the right choice. All good. Everybody split up quite nicely, though. Everybody's got a few tenths between them Eggy out in first place. BluBarry really pushing for first position here, though. Ooh, just about managing to avoid clipping the wall there. Goes on through. Good amount of exit speed. Is going to stay well ahead of Eggy through to the finish line. Eggy gets her as well. Second place. Burntbagels flips over the line. This time gets over it. And Padster comes home in fourth position, which is awkward now. 13 points remaining.
It's rough because, again, that's kind of Bagels up at the top, putting in the times that we saw both Barry, Bagels, and Eggy do on our first go-around on Worm. All of them were pretty much within half a tenth of each other, around the 57.17 mark, a little bit either side of that. And then Padster was pretty much a full second and a half behind on his best time, which we're kind of seeing again just on pure pace, even around where Padster doesn't crash here. He's just looking to survive Worm, and with 2 rounds left with only 13 points, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah, it definitely is, and not off to a great start this time around either. Already down by about half a second, although once again getting the...
All right, we are back. Unfortunately, you did miss the closest round that we've had yet in the competition, as 3 players finished within half a tenth of each other. But you know what? Don't worry about it. The most important thing is that Padster has survived Worm. Back with 5 points after 2 second places in the last 2 rounds. Barry having a pretty torrid time of it over the last couple as well, dropping a little bit further down. But Bagels secures that lead as we move to...
Statman.
Statman. He's called Statman, not Video Man, for a reason.
Yeah. What? Why did I just immediately know? What?
It's just true, you know? Like, if he was good at production, maybe we'd call him Production Man.
Yeah. Absolutely correct. It's quite literally almost called that in the Discord, but...
It's true.
We need to change it to Statman Thomas.
I think he gave himself that name, so I don't know if it really counts.
Ah, well, there you go.
You know?
What, like Cast the Guy Orion?
I was thinking like Mean Girls, like stop trying to make producer
Go
man happen.
Pisco.
It's not going to happen.
So I like, okay, so this is the only ever time when we're with Thomas that we get to listen just to the unbridled hot mic thoughts of the producer. Like, it never ever happens in anything else. The producer will stay muted until they need to talk to you. But when you're casting with Thomas producing, just you'll have people live laughing at your jokes, just like calling you out for saying dumb things. It is the most chaotic experience ever.
You use the word dirty and you just hear giggling in the background,
exactly.
even if it's in a completely innocent context.
Oh my god.
Classic. Hey, things are looking rough for Padster.
Oh,
I do want a stat for Clueless.
Last time out, Eggy finished in all positions on this map.
All positions. Wow. Adaptable. A switch.
Yeah. Like a Nintendo?
Yeah, like a Nintendo. Yeah. Like a Nintendo. Exactly. Exactly.
Nailed it. Hey, Padster is 4th place at the moment, and it's looking like it's about time to head to last chance. Eggy, despite, you know, performing very well over the course of the league so far, is not that far away from last chance themselves, and could start to drop down, but this is a good round. Barry holding on to a lead in this one. Bagels about a second behind at the moment, is going to hope for a mistake. Barry has lost a bit of speed on that exit. Eggy is going to look to make the overtake happen. A little bit of plastic, holding on to your speed. Barry does a slightly better job, but manages to pick up that half a car length over Eggy, heading into our final couple of turns. Inside for Eggy, goes deep. Great final turn, and Eggy will pick up a round win.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. But the story of the day, well, I mean, Eggy doing a very good job to stay afloat of the last chance zone, but Padster is now down in there relatively early on, but not insurmountable differences here. I mean, we saw Summer Soph go from last chance to second place with players well up into the 40 points last time around last week. So, hey, I don't see that we... Oh, okay.
Well, you know, you're absolutely right. Some players, they find something buried within them. They take off the training weights. They start driving PBs. it's not looking like that is going to be Padster's fate here, unfortunately. Last chance to direct elimination, although that is a mistake coming through from Bagels, and Padster will re-overtake, and all of a sudden, that is a race at the back, as Bagels is 2.5 seconds even further behind Padster, who's 2.5 seconds away from these leaders at the moment.
Burntbagels smelt the sweet smell of £10 in my bank account and has suddenly dropped 5 seconds behind now. So Padster seems to be in the safe zone now. Eggy and BluBarry are really contending for points here, and well, Eggy really wants to come in first position once again to limit the amount of time staying ahead of this. Oh, really good turn at the end, but 23,000 separate, and that's -4 points, chipping away. At the 25 remaining. Padster saved this time around. I don't know how, but that is going to be a really important round with Burntbagels, the current leader, losing out on 10 points. It means that not only have they dropped back towards BluBarry here on mid-40s, but also Padster chipping away at points here.
And Bagels has been is having a little bit of a rough time here on Clueless our second time around, and that is after winning quite a lot of the previous rounds when we came here too, so not ideal. Having a struggle with it at the moment, trying to just pick up some points, any point, well, not lose points, you know how it works, reverse elimination and all that. But this is it. This is Padster once again, kind of in a position we've seen a lot, chasing the taillights of the cars in front early on in the round, and has been saved a couple of times, saved some points by mistakes later on from players. Padster at least has been relatively consistent after, you know, maybe one mistake earlier, just a little bit of a lack of pace, has just been getting to that finish line, and it's been managing to keep him just about in reach at the moment. There is a mistake from Bagels, not a big one, but it's a big speed loss. Padster so wide on the plastic though, no speed left.
Gear down as well means that it's going to be even more difficult to catch up with the rest of the pack, and only one turn left to make a mistake on. Nobody does. Padster, I'm not going to say chokes it, but has a very difficult time on those final couple of turns, and really just had the opportunity to get back into things, didn't quite make it happen. A wide turn on the plastic makes it impossible to catch back up. Eliminated first, and still 17 points remaining on Eggy here, so still a little ways to go until we get our second player eliminated.
And it's tough for Padster, qualified as the 6th seed for Div2, will come in last place in this week's match, which, given that in theory, you know, we have, what, the 13th seed and the 15th seed before the league started, should have been a week that Padster was looking at and like, right, that's time to pick up big points. Here we are instead, and it has to be said, things haven't played out that way over week 1 and 2, and at the halfway mark as well. Bagels and Eggy still making a play for the top of that leaderboard, but Barry looking to really put the stop on these two players climbing up that leaderboard. Having a very good competition so far, is now climbing up into the top. Eggy will make it touch and will fall away. It's Bagels versus Barry, and Barry has been standout so far on Clueless.
Yeah, Bagels not finding an opening to get the overtake done this time around. A little bit of an awkward gear at the end of the dirt there, but it does not come to anything in the plastic. Going very inside there, is going to lose out on speed, but maybe catch up towards Barry, capitalize on a mistake, but Barry is absolutely fine. Gets over that finish line, stays in first position, and in fact compounds that ever further. Eggy moves on down towards 8 points here. One more loss would put them on last chance, so important to get second or better here.
And Bagels and Barry just kind of hoping that they can eliminate Eggy nice and quickly, get back into it with just first and second on the line, you know, a little bit more comfortable. But we have seen some really good driving from Eggy so far, which means even on last chance, I'm not counting Eggy out. Padster, it was rough. Padster was having a very difficult week of it as well. These weeks happen where you just don't have the time to practice and you just end up a little bit behind the competition on pace with a few more mistakes. Eggy has not really been having that night. It's been a little bit of inconsistency that's dropped him further behind Barry and Bagels, but in terms of just pace, Eggy's been there all evening long. Yeah,
absolutely. I think consistency has been key this time around. You can see that with BluBarry definitely being a more consistent up at the top than Burntbagels. Eggy has been really holding on to things, but has had a lot of slip-ups, I would say, throughout the course of today, and has dropped down a little earlier than they would have liked, I think.
Yeah, all the way close down. We do have a stat for you, surprisingly.
So far, Burntbagels and BluBarry have won 8 rounds apiece, and Eggy has won 4.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you were kind of talking about, right? Is then the consistency comes through, because I'm looking at the stats a little bit here, and Barry just has more second place finishes than Bagels as well. Eggy has 6 second place finishes as well, is doing quite well and getting up there. But Barry has just kind of weighted more towards those first 2 positions, has been quick, but has also just been managing to get that car across the line in those positions a little bit more often. And we're getting to a position where, hey, that's relevant, right? Managing to just keep in those top 2 positions, keep Eggy out as well, and just one good round then from Bagels alongside would potentially do it. But it is a great start from Eggy. It's a pretty rough one from Bagels.
Yeah. How do you like your eggs? No.
I love a scrambled egg. I love a fried egg as well.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of hard-boiled, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I'm not really a hard-boiled. I don't really like. How do you season a hard-boiled egg properly? I don't know. That
just salt it before every bite or something, which is a bit rough.
That's odd. That's weird.
Yeah, no, it's not great. I don't love it.
Scrambled is optimal. You can get seasoning throughout the eggs. You can have it in whatever way you want, unless like you're having I don't know, like a breakfast sandwich. In which case, fried is good because then you can actually like have it stacked with everything else. But
or there's a restaurant near my work that does a lovely steak and fried egg, and like a nice kind of like runny fried egg to dip your steak in. That's pretty good.
Okay, I've been to Egg Slot a couple of times in London. It is amazing. And by the way, that's the name of the establishment. Oh, what do you want me to say? Absolutely amazing. The one thing that came out of LA that is good.
Yeah, sure. That's a hot take.
Is it?
Well,
I don't know.
They make some pretty good movies there, I've heard, or whatever. There are a lot of bad ones too. You're absolutely right. Eggy will still lose 2 points because that's how 3 players works in reverse elimination here. But still, the best possible result there from Eggy, and it really came down to Barry and Bagels making mistakes over the course of that round, and Eggy will be happy to see those. But I think even just on pure pace, Eggy was still looking solid there.
Yeah, like hard-boiled there. Well, either way.
Let's hope he doesn't crack under the pressure.
Hey, it looks like Burntbagels is trying to make that happen, or trying to flip the car again this time around. I don't know what, like, Burntbagels is manifesting being on his back. Either way, well, that would be an interesting... I mean, I'm manifesting that as well, but come on. There's no need That was unintentional. Either way. Well, the second part wasn't, but the first part definitely was. But then I heard Thomas laughing, and I was like, oh god, no.
He's done it again.
Yeah.
Eggy's really quick again.
Yeah, again.
Managed to put in a very solid time the last round. We did hear from Thomas earlier on, but still not really approaching those PBs in the last rounds. This isn't really going to do it either. Once again, a 101 though. Bagels will crash. Barry will snipe, and Bagels will lose the -9 on this round. Big round for Barry to snipe on as well, reversing that point deficit, managing to stay a little bit further in front of Bagels. And Eggy is getting pretty close to Bagels at the moment.
Eggy is getting pretty close to Bagels. It's such a good sentence. Either way, I mean, look, if you really want to...
cooking with my toddler.
Eggy getting really close to Bagels. I can imagine you talking like that. Oh no, Eggy is very far away from Bagels now. If you really want to like stretch it, BluBarry could be BluBarry. It'd be a weird thing to have with
in chat earlier. I don't think it'd be that weird. I feel like blueberries are a pretty normal part of breakfast for a lot of people.
I don't know, like maybe in like a sweet thing, in a savory thing.
I feel like, you know, you have a bit of granola and some blueberries on the side, and you have like a bagel with a scrambled egg on top. I absolutely see that. That sounds like a nice breakfast.
Sure. Oh, what happened?
Alive.
What happened?
The berry has been juiced as Eggy will move forward all the way into second place. But still, that is going to be enough to drop Eggy down to last chance in this round. So Bagels, unless they make the mistake, their fate is in their own hands. And being the player closest to last chance, other than Eggy, this is a big round for Bagels to just get cleanly to the finish in.
Yeah, but has had a bit of trouble getting over the finish line historically. It's fine this time around. Speak check is all good. BluBarry is second. Didn't matter either way, technically, but Eggy comes home in third position, now on last chance, but has done a really good job of staying away from it for quite a while, and has brought everybody down to below 30 points here, so definitely doable to get a second place here, definitely doable to get a first place. What I was going to say, before we had such an exciting round, was that I think now we need to make a content piece for BIPL of trying a BluBarry and egg bagel.
Great British and Irish Trackmania bake-off.
Yeah. Oh, apparently we have a stat.
Also, we have a stat. Yeah.
You could say it loudly. There's nothing stopping you from.
screaming.
That was Burntbagels' first win in over 7 rounds.
Woo!
Ah,
Wow.
that's kind of surprising.
Fell off plus L plus ratio, apparently.
Plus L plus ratio. Plus is a long way down in this round. What's not surprising is Eggy's pace at the moment in this has been looking absolutely wonderful on Manifest so far this evening. That is continuing here. Clear of Barry by about 3/10. Bagels a long way down. That early mistake really costing. And Bagels going to be getting very close to a last chance of their own. But this is going to be decided on Worm. And that is pretty interesting. Going back to that map for this one, Eggy will confirm the first place. Barry staying all the way up on 16 points. Bagel down to just 3 now. A first place keeps Bagels off of last chance, but other than that, it's going to probably just be a shootout between Eggy and Bagels.
Yeah, it does seem that way, but Eggy has been this map. Are there any others that Eggy has been consistently in first place, or maybe, you know, consistently staying away from third place on? I'm not 100% sure. It's still going to be a difficult one here on Worm. And again, it's all going to come down to whether or not you are comfortable with that ice turn.
Yeah, and I mean, really, this has, I'd say, looked like Eggy's worst map of the evening so far. Has still looked solid on it at times. The pace is still there, but the consistency has been a factor on this map more than any other. And right now, on last chance, you can't afford an inconsistent round, because one inconsistent round, one crash, probably just means you're out, unless you can mind control your opponents into making the bigger mistake as well. So kind of expect to see Eggy maybe play it a little bit safe on this ice turn as much as possible, potentially lose time on it as well. And of course, trying to play it safe on ice if you are a little bit hesitant approaching it as well. It's a very good way to actually end up sliding out anyways. You gear down, gear up, just lose the gear in general.
Yeah, Burntbagels' turn looked really good there, so that's promising, but you really never know. I feel like it's very difficult to be deterministic on ice. It's very difficult to get the same result twice in a row, so maybe should have saved that kind of turn for the rounds. But hey, Eggy really trying to get a good entry into this one, seeing what works. Breaking a little too much, I think, there. The over-rotation happening.
Yeah, just trying to throw the car at it a few times, get comfortable with it as we head into what could be a decisive round. Eggy just trying to survive one round, get Bagels down onto last chance as well. Because at that point, nerves can kick in for anyone. It's always a little bit harder, I feel like, for the second player to hit last chance. If someone's been holding on for a while, the pressure just feels that little bit higher for the player getting down there.
Well, speaking of getting down there, BluBarry has hit a wall, is now down in third position by quite a significant margin. Eggy in the safe zone for the time being. Being in first place will be even nicer here, but
really needs to beat Bagels here.
Yeah, exactly. If he beats Bagels, Bagels is immediately down into last chance alongside him for the time being. Burntbagels playing this one really nicely. It's not going to be a simple task to overtake.
Yeah, I mean, it would be huge for Eggy to win. It's not the end of the world if he doesn't manage to beat Bagels in this round, but putting Bagels onto last chance immediately, one less round where you're the only player down there, would be pretty nice. It doesn't necessarily look like it's going to happen unless this end from Eggy is phenomenal. It's very tight on the inside, but would still need Bagels to crash on out. Won't happen. Bagels takes the round. Eggy will take second place, and Barry loses 9 points and is now himself at risk of last chance. We could see the triple last chance on the following round.
Yeah, very possible. 7 points and 1 point here. Eggy needs to stay alive for one more, and if things go well, Eggy first, Burntbagels second, BluBarry third, then everybody is on last chance next round. That is a reality that we are facing very possibly here, but I don't think BluBarry or Burntbagels have any well, actually, it would probably be that would be ideal for Bagels as well, technically. Well, actually, no, getting rid of Eggy this round. So first, no, I think it probably would be nicest to have everybody on last chance at the same time.
Bullshit. But either way, again, Bagels has been looking like the best driver on this map, I think, over the course of this match. So just forcing that triple last chance on the map that you have been performing best on, absolutely ideal scenario for Bagels. But at the moment, it doesn't look like we're going to get it. Eggy sits in third place. We need a mistake from Barry or Bagels to keep Eggy alive. There it is.
No way.
It's going to be Bagels who makes that mistake. Is going a little bit slowly. Eggy could catch. It'll come down to the line if it happens at all. A little bit more speed. Not enough. It's going to be Eggy eliminated. A last second push, not enough. Barry versus Bagels for the top two. Eggy with a valiant effort drops out in third.
Barry has one round in hand as well. If Burnt Bagels comes first, then obviously it is going to be double last chance here. If not, then either way, Barry gets 1 round extra here to prove his worth here. 5 points versus a last chance situation. And BluBarry has been doing well, but has not been coming first more often, I don't think, than Burnt Bagels on this map specifically.
Oh, again, this is Bagel's best map so far. He's looking very, very good on it with 4 wins so far. Although, with that said, Barry has 5 wins on it. So, you know, I guess that goes to show exactly how much I've been paying attention. As, yeah, Barry's been looking great. Bagels has been looking good as well. Barry is so wide on that ice, but manages to just about hold on. I think a wheel slipped over the edge there, and that does mean Bagels through into the lead. Barry looking to play catch-up, and this could be tight at the very end as Bagels is just looking to hold on.
Yeah, oh, and BluBarry really tries to get as much speed as possible, but overcooks it. Goes a little too inside. Burnt Bagels almost hits the pole, but it's not enough. Oh no! He's let BluBarry in. BluBarry soars into first place, over the line, overtakes on the final corner, and ends it right there. BluBarry ends the game with 1 point in hand. Second position, Burnt Bagels. Third place, Eggy TM. And finally, Padster there. What an insane round.
Just, I mean, efficiency from Barry. He was given 100. He used all 120 points, dropping to a single point at the end, and some very tight rounds at the end as well. Really only a couple of rounds separated the top 3 there. You know, our finishing order ends up being Barry at the top, Bagels in second, Eggy in third. It could have been any permutation of those 3 by the time we finished that map off.
For sure. We've actually, that was a relatively quick map. Generally, match. We generally finish kind of with like 5 minutes until the hour, and then we got to go straight into the next one. We got 10 minutes. That's a relatively quick one. This format usually ends in very kind of, it doesn't matter who finishes where. Generally, it's the same kind of amount of time, but that was very close and very quick.
Yeah, and I mean, look, we're seeing those things we love about the Trackmania community as well. Very supportive as right in Twitch chat as Bagels unfortunately clips down that round. Opal comes in to say, that's the Bagels I know. It's just such a wholesome community. So supportive of each other in our times of distress.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the British and Irish community. I think we encapsulate the kind of the support for each other that we have in real life as well, you know?
Yeah, exactly. All emotionally stunted from a young age. It makes a lot of sense to me. We are going to get an interview with Barry as well, the winner of this match, and that's going to be a lot of fun as well. And we will just be a quick second here as Twiggy goes, make sure that everything is A-OK with getting Barry in on this one, and we should be good. Barry ready to come in? Will we just drag him in and get going?
Yeah.
Harry, congrats.
Hello. Thanks. Oh, man.
I mean, hey, made it close at the end. Excuse me.
Oh, thank the Lord! Thank God you guys couldn't hear that. That was horrific.
Yeah, that was 120 points. You used 119 of them to get rid of every other player in that match.
Yeah, 1. Yeah.
Solid.
Just
Perfectly calculated.
Perfect. Look, it was probably one of the closest games that we've had so far. We didn't have, you know, a 3-way last chance happen, but everybody was very close to each other in terms of points. Would you say there was a map that you really like out of those of the 3 that we played today?
You know what? Surprisingly, I think Worm really played well for me today. Thank God. I had a nightmare in the first week there. But yeah, no, I thought Worm would be the death of me as well, though. Bagels could really have killed me there. But thank God, it came true for me.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of Bagels, both Bagels and Eggy have been performing very well over the league so far, massively outperforming both of their seedings coming into it. Were you kind of aware of that coming into this week? You know, putting a stop to this rise of the lower seeds?
I actually was just kind of going to ignore it and hope for the best. There was a moment where I think Eggy was staying in last chance for just a bit too long, and I thought I was going to get Sunday soft again, and I was dreading that quite badly.
Well, here's an important question, I think, a very important one. You know, we've been talking all the way through, you know, your name sounds like BluBarry. We have Eggy in that lobby, and we have Burnt Bagels in that lobby. What is your favorite breakfast option?
Oh, it's actually. Oh my god, you're not going to believe this. It's like an egg and a bagel.
Oh,
With ham, like there's no fruits, but like.
Oh, so would you say that you ate them for breakfast?
Oh yeah, sure. You can take that one. Yeah.
that's some prime trash talk. We love that. We didn't put the words in your mouth whatsoever.
No, not at all. Look, I mean, a couple more questions here, Barry. How are you feeling about the rest of the competition then, you know? You've seen all the maps at this point. You did have not a rough time of it on Manifest, but you weren't really picking up the round wins. You were holding on for second places as other players crashed out around you. Now that you know the full map pack, kind of what are you aiming for the rest of the league?
No offense to Killjoy, but I never want to play that map again. And I'm so happy I don't have to. Yeah, no, or wait, do I have?
You absolutely have to play Manifest again.
We're all from grace there. That was
Damn it.
there was a whole roller coaster of emotions that happened there. That was wild.
Yeah. Oh god, going through it. No, I think I'm just gonna have to practice Manifest, I suppose, and so Dad.
Right. Well, we've sent BluBarry through all the stages of grief. We've had some prime trash talk, both towards a mapper and towards the players in the lobby. So I think that'll wrap up the interview. Thank you for joining us, BluBarry. Very congratulations on the win once again. Division standings one more time before we head to a quick break.
Yeah, and with Barry picking up that win, is going to climb a little bit up the standings. Surprisingly, still not managed to catch up to Burntbagels, who with a second place is holding on to a current tied fourth place with 10 points. VidQ and Shawnee Wolf still up the top of the standings. 3 wins for each of them, sitting them on 12 points. But yeah, all of our drivers from that match now clustered together very tightly in the middle. And I think that kind of goes to show this could be a match that really has an impact on the end of season standings.
Yeah, definitely. I think if things stay this kind of flip-floppy and players start to catch up to each other this much, I mean, even, look, we've got 2 players who have had flawless points, but it's not been like everybody else has had 3-3-3 or 2-2-2. Things are staying quite close. We've got 12s, 11s, 10s, 9s, so everything is staying real nice and tight up towards the top. So this could be a really interesting end to the season.
Yeah, especially because VidQ and Shawnee Wolf don't meet until the final week of the season. In week 5, those two will be playing against each other. And Burntbagels will be putting in an appearance in that match as well. So a potentially very explosive final match of the competition down in Div 2. But for now, we are going to head to a quick break, and then we are going to be back to bring you the Div 1 action as top seeds face off against each other for the first time. Jaffa, Hendo and Epos. Jaffa Padawan will be there too, but it's Hendo and Epos who are undefeated at the moment, looking to take each other down. We'll see you after the break.